Oh, we're live. I guess. I guess we don't get the thing.
Oh,
anymore.
yeah.
Hang on. Here we go.
This ain't no regular thing. Came for the ring, you know what I mean. I shoot my shot and it's clean. This from my city, yeah, this from my team. If you talking, it's all to me nice. I play with all of my life. You see my name in the lights. Better get right, I'm a champion. I'm a team. If you talking, it's all to me nice. I play with all of my life. You see my name in the lights. Better get right, I'm a champion.
And we're off to a hot start here on a Monday. It is President's Day, February 17th. DJ Yoakley, Anthony Hartwig. What happened, Twiggy? What happened right there?
No, it was because I used the main brand to do the recording where we don't use the intro, and I forgot to put it back up. So we recorded one this morning at 11:30 interview, and then I just didn't put the intro back up.
You son of a gun.
I know,
Sabotage.
Saboteur.
It is President's Day. We didn't start out presidential, like I'll tell you that. But it's all right. That's what we do. We rebound. We are the Dennis Rodman of your local sports. We're just going to worry about rebounds, and the scoring will come later. We'll let the primetime players, the CeCe Fosters, the Ryan Romais, do the scoring here for us today. And it was what I thought was going to be a terrible weekend in sports. I thought this was the Super Bowl hangover, the week after the Super Bowl, always one of the worst television. I mean, because you got like the NBA All-Star Game, which a lot of people get really excited about. Forgive me. I think it stinks.
I think it's funny because they get excited, and then you see a lot of hate for it after, as if they don't expect it to be bad, because it's been bad for a while.
The dunk contest almost always comes through. Here's the problem with the dunk contest, and I'm not trying to be poo-poo, right? Not trying to bleh all over it, but nobody ever knows the people in the dunk contest. The last time we've had a stellar dunk contest was it Dwight Howard, maybe?
Right. I think Dwight Howard, the Superman cape, right?
Yeah, and listen, these dunks are phenomenal. Like, Mac had some unbelievable dunks. 3-time champion now. I mean, is it too late for LeBron to get in one? Is that too much to ask?
Well, there was some, for what it's worth, there was some noise on Twitter. It was like some guys were like, well, if he's doing this, I got to get on there. And then a couple other guys were like, well, if you do it, I do it. But that's just Twitter talk. Tell me about it when the time comes next year, if you'll actually do it.
But Twitter's where all the smoke becomes fire, right? That's the dark web, so to speak. I mean, the NBA always looking for, hey, why don't we get the recognition we deserve? Because your product stinks for 8 out of 9 months. Everybody's real excited at the beginning of the year and real excited for, the semifinals and the finals. That's it. Like, I could not tell you. Now, truth be told, I did not watch the All-Star Game festivities, the All-Star whatever it was leading up to it, right? Whatever they want to call it, sponsored by Kia. What I watched was the Twitter highlights of people like, what is this? Like, guys are just like throwing balls out of a bucket to nobody in particular, not making them, and then continuing what they're. I could not figure it out for the life of me what was going on, and I honestly didn't want to. I was like, this. If they're gonna let this happen, golly be. The funk's on me, Bubble.
Don't worry, our All-Star game's going to be much better. we're gonna redeem basketball in about a month. We're call a month and a half.
I agree. However, I will tell all-star participants, if you miss, it doesn't count. Like, it doesn't count. I don't understand it. Like, they missed. These are professionals getting paid lots of money. Like, max contracts like $370 million or something like that, right? That's what Luka Doncic missed out on. But I saw dudes that were like trying to throw the ball into a tire? Like through a tire swing, like we used to do back when we were, 5 to 8 years old and we were learning how to pitch. They were missing that. And you were like, wait a minute. And there's one guy looking for a dead spot in the floor. I'm like, that's my guy right there. Like, not taking the accountability, looking for that dead spot in the floor. I love it. But out of all that disgusting, like, and I'm not saying, I am saying it in a bad way. It was terrible.
It was bad.
It was so bad. Out of all that garbage, right? Rose, one of the greatest nights for America. Man, did you catch any of that hockey game?
Yeah. And I love that, like, the first 7 seconds there were 3 fights.
9 seconds, 3 fights.
I love the post game press conference where the guys were like, we were talking about all week, this was a part of the game plan, setting the tone. We're gonna fight these guys, and you go out there and win. And the funny thing is, it could be a rematch in the finals if
it will be
out that way.
It will be. There's no doubt. I mean, the ratings need it. Canada versus United States, especially right now in the political climate that it is, needs to happen. But dude, I think every American, every one of them, and this is another topic we're going to get into in a little bit, but it's not an Olympic year, technically. Like, it's 26
until next summer.
But
next winter.
We're in the Olympic year,
right?
But
teams are decided.
Oh, Shane Davis is here with his little girl. Oh, hi. Do you want to come on the air? You want to make your debut? She's coming in. And Shane. How are you? What's up, buddy? What's up? Welcome. You want to say hi? Say hi to everybody? What's your name?
Anina. Say Nina.
Say Nina.
Look at yourself there.
You see yourself? She's all business, man. All business.
Do you want to blow a kiss? Do you want to give DJ 5?
B5? Yeah.
Yeah.
You look nice and warm. I like those boots. Shaner, good to see you, buddy.
You too, man. Give me a call.
I will. You want to get on too? Look at that. Look at that.
Go Buckeyes.
Face. Oh, jeez. You're out. You're suspended for good. Get out of here. You should have said go America. Go ahead.
Go America.
There it is.
There it is.
Nina, that was from Nina. That wasn't from Shane. Shane obviously roots for Canada and Russia. There's not a doubt in my mind. Also, one of the best presidential interviews we've ever had was Shane Davis 2 years ago, I believe. 2 years ago. But here's the thing, Ant. When we're trying to see that right back on the tracks, doesn't miss.
Like a pro.
Doesn't miss. They booed the national anthem. Canada booed our national anthem. If they would have booed both of them, I would just said that, okay, like even Stevens. No, they waited. They booed the American national anthem, and then they got their comeuppance in 9 seconds.
In 9 seconds.
The Kachuk brothers were America's heroes at that moment. And guess who tagged along with them? J.T. by God Miller of East Palestine, Ohio. Ladies and gentlemen, there it was. And there wasn't a happy... Now listen, there's nobody here that's going to say that was a great outcome for JT. That was not probably the outcome he expected. However, like a true East Palestinian, like a true American, he goes in there and picks out the biggest son of a gun. And he goes, let's go.
Jailhouse rules.
Let's do this. And he landed a couple haymakers, and he got a couple haymakers, and he ended up, I mean, I don't think anybody would ever say that was in JT's favor necessarily, but he did what he had to do. And I'm proud as hell of him. JT, you're out there listening. I know it. I know you are, because I know you've watched the show. I know that for a fact. And we're grateful. We're proud of you, buddy. We're proud of you. And the Tkachuk boys, hey, America. America first. Right there. Those Canadians, they can keep their bacon. We don't need it because we just kick their bacon.
It's glorified ham. That's all it is.
That's all it is. We're not about that Canadian bacon stuff. Give us some good old American swine. That's what we're looking for.
I love that we also do it in the sport that's like Canada's sport. You know, it's supposed to be Canada's sport, and it's like, wait a minute.
Hey, I hate to tell you, it's ours now. We
it's ours now.
It's ours.
We took it.
You're not getting it back, pal. You Canadians, you can have your maple syrup and your bacon and all that stuff. Hockey's ours now. It's ours, and you're not getting it back. And we're proud of it. And that was I know there's not a lot of hockey enthusiasts necessarily around these parts, but you didn't have to be. That was a fight for America, and it was incredible. And I loved every second of it. And I may have woken the kids up, getting a little excited when Jake Gensel, who a former Pittsburgh Penguin, who those of you who know, and yes, there might be a couple Chinese jerseys on their way to the Yoakley house via USA jersey, JT Miller, and New York Rangers, JT Miller.
Right after you said America first, where we're getting jerseys from China.
I might be tariffed on it, and I'm willing to pay that, right? I'm willing to pay that tariff, that 25% tariff, to get my JT Miller, New York Rangers, and USA jersey, and I will wear them proudly. This is the best I can come up with today. I mean, I've been amped up all weekend.
It's good.
All weekend. And I was so disappointed in basketball. And you know we love basketball.
Right.
But man alive, hockey stood its ground, and it was full display on Saturday night, and I couldn't have been happier.
On the local scene, though, we had some dang good basketball. We had some of the best games we've seen all season, and we had some highlights, man. Look at the Louisville game, the way that ended the program, getting the dub.
That? Where is that? Can we pull that up?
We can pull that up.
Can we cue that? Can you cue that up?
Let's find.
While we're doing that, we get to say thank you to our friends at Greenwood Chevrolet who sponsor this show. Thank you to Greg Greenwood and all the great people, hardworking people, I believe, out there right now on this President's Day. So if you're looking for a new or used vehicle right now, I'm sure they've got some President's Day discounts because nothing's open. The banks are closed. Schools are closed. All that stuff. They're waiting for you. Arms wide open like Scott Stapp.
Like Creed.
Like Creed. And not Apollo. Like what should be the Hall of Fame Canadian Christian band known as Creed. You cooking through those highlights, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm gonna get it up. I'm gonna get that video up for us.
It's great video, and the call is even better. Rob Johnson, dude, lights out. And what's funny about this is the people complaining about this is the worst basketball I've ever seen. All they do is, these slow passes. They're okay, pal. Thank you. First, thank you for commenting. Also, they're trying to do what they call one-shot opportunity, like have the last shot of the game. So, yes, they're probably going to pass the ball around a little bit. They're just going to hold on to it, or they're not just going to run down and shoot it with 28 seconds left or whatever they had on the clock. Come on. Right. We have great fans. We have smart, intelligent sports fans. And then we have people that are like, oh, this is the worst basketball I've ever. Give me a break.
Let me see if this worked. Is this it?
Oh, I see it.
We got it.
All right, cue it.
All right, here we go.
Here.
We're going to run this a couple times.
Louisville has 2 timeouts left, so if they struggle off the inbounds, they can get another timeout here. Natchez does not have any.
Jancic gets the inbound, gets it off to Gross. Gross guarded by Friary.
This is where people were complaining.
26 seconds left.
Oh, you got 30 seconds. You want the last shot.
Stall formation.
Why would you give the ball up right there?
Expect to kind of let Gross go at it here with about 10 seconds here.
And you can see Gross is looking for space. If the drive is there, he would have taken it.
Nothing there. Back
Beachy knows he wants the ball last.
Right.
Guarded by Thomas. 7 seconds. Into Marshall. 4 seconds. Into Gross. Gross is going to shoot it up. Oh! It's good! It's good! It's good! And the Leopards have defeated the #1 team in Ohio! And the place has gone berserk! place is going berserk. BG hit it, folks. Wow.
It wasn't good enough that he hit the one. This place is going berserk. Rojo had to hit it twice. Rojo had to hit it. He had it in his mind. This is my opportunity. I'm running with it. I'm hitting twice. I'm hitting that button twice. The place is going berserk. I love it. BG hit it, folks.
It's such a good call.
It was. And it was a great game. And people are like, what's the big deal? What's big deal is that's the number 1 team in Ohio playing the number 2 team in Ohio.
Across any division. And we're number one in the state of Ohio across any division. And it's 1 and 2 in Northeast Ohio across any division. It's a big deal. It was a huge game. You can see both crowds stacked. I mean, it's standing room only in Louisville for a reason.
Electric.
It's overtime. I mean, everything you want out of that matchup, you got.
And the thing about it is, I mean, you look at something special in Louisville. Yeah, you're not kidding. You're not kidding, Will. There's something special happening with the program in Louisville. That is their nickname. That is their calling card. And boy, did they deserve it more than ever right there. Unbelievable. And I love the band going off at the end. I love the people storming the court. Like this had that old school feel. And when we talk about Louisville, we talk about Massillon. They still have that. Not that other places don't. I want to preface this. Not that other places don't have that love or that communal aspect. But man, I'm not sure that anybody carries a stick right now like Louisville. Across the board, Ant. Across the board.
You look at the big wins they've had this year. St. V's goes down to Louisville. They went to California and played some of the top teams, not just in California, in the country over Christmas break. These were teams that were playing that were basically like Division I Power 5 feeder programs that just travel the country and just play basketball. To send people to your Dukes, your North Carolinas, your Floridas, your Texases. And Louisville is playing those kind of teams. They weren't scared of that. They come back home. They beat just about every big team in Northeast Ohio that you can possibly beat, including St. Iggy's. I mean, it's
chips on the table.
There you go. Now they just have to go take care of business. There's no one they can't beat. They've proven that in their division. Go take care of business.
I'm with you. And Will's excited. Freshman, JV, varsity, all won this weekend. And that's something we don't talk about a lot. There's a lot of people that put a lot of stock into that, but for us, obviously we have to focus on the varsity. Mm-hmm. But when you look at it, there's a lot of people that, chips are in. This is the program. The chips are in the middle of the table. It's now or never for Louisville. But, that's right. It's not, because we got guys coming up, and then we got guys coming up after. It must be like kind of what you felt like when like the British came in, soldiers wise, like back in the day, just one line, next line, and right. You got some cannons after that, by the way. So good luck.
All in uniform, Navy behind them.
America still won.
Twice. Twice.
Undefeated.
They came back and they wanted some more, and we gave them some more.
Back-to-back World War champs, and we took your tea too.
And then we saved your butts in the 20th century.
You're welcome. By the way,
welcome.
I don't remember receiving a thank you card, but you're welcome. Canada, you're welcome too.
You're welcome too.
State number 51. We're playing for pink slips on Thursday. We're going. I really can appreciate what kind of ball that we had going on this weekend. Expected.
Mm-hmm.
Crestview. 70-6, right?
Maple,
something like that.
Yep, 70-5.
75, sorry.
Maplewood, same score against. Those were the expected, but then we had some thrillers that you get out of the sectionals. South Range wins with 2 seconds left. Heidi Bartels goes to the line, down 1, hits a pair of free throws. Raiders win by 1 after being down almost the whole game. big win for the Raiders. Poland falls in a very close game, but it was just as exciting. They get a last-second shot. They couldn't hit it, but we had some thrilling games.
Big win.
Niles, big win. Columbiana goes to overtime, falls to Waynedale, unfortunately, but we previewed how much of a tough task that was going to be just to get past Waynedale in that bracket. So we had some really good sectional games, and laced in there with a lot of blowouts.
And we've got a lot more on Tuesday. And we've got a lot more people that want to sponsor games on Tuesday, which we couldn't be more grateful for. Again, if you are looking to sponsor a game, if you're looking to see a game and have it broadcasted by YSN, we just ask you to sponsor. All you got to do is send a message to us via email, via social media, anything like that. We'll take it from there. We'll make sure that the games get on with that sponsor. And we have, hopefully, within a little more than 24 hours. If you guys give us 24 hours, we're good. We got a couple messages over the weekend. It was like, hey, was it 4 o'clock, 4:30? Yeah. And they're like, hey, the game's at 7. Can you get – no, sorry. Like, that's a tough task, because when you're standing there and you already promised your kids they're going to go to Chuck E. Cheese or whatever.
Yeah. And we get it, because we put the graphics up and they're always going to, lead to those messages. So we understand. We just told those people, hey, you're going to be there on Tuesday. And when you are, you come right back and we'll get you taken care of.
Yeah. But we appreciate it. That was the precipice of that little diorama of information we just laid out there for you. We have 2 great interviews today. Anthony, Ty did a great interview with Ryan Romai, who is the all-time points leader in Jackson Milton, and had just literally just rewriting the record books out there for the Blue Jays. Excited to have Ryan on the show today. Also had an interview with CeCe Foster over the weekend, who is the South Range senior sharpshooter, and I think she had a 6-point effort on Saturday that helped the Raiders get to the next round, which, as you kind of already mentioned, they were down 17-7 after the first.
Yep, and then still down 10 at halftime too. So
goodness, and like you could feel it. Like I'm getting updates, and I'm like, oh gosh, I feel so bad. And then last text I got was, hey, we won.
And the good thing about that South Range team is they almost always play really, really good defense that'll keep them in games. So when you're down by 10, but the other team's only scored 27 points in the first half, you get like, hey, if we find some offense, our defense is doing its job, it'll keep us in this game. And they only allowed 12 points in the second half, 27-38. So 11 points in the second half. So that defense is always going to keep the Raiders in a game.
So now on Tuesday,
home game,
they play Dome against Girard.
Round 3 with Girard.
Girard up 2-0, right? Correct.
But they're both close games.
Well, and that's they talk about the hardest thing to do in a season is beat a team 3 times. They talk about it in football. Any sport. The hardest thing to do is beat a team 3 times. And on top of that, I would imagine if there were a bookie somewhere out there, the Raiders would be the underdog in this scenario.
They might be a little bit less underdog if it was a road game, but they'll still be the underdog. They get to at least host this game. Timing of the schedule matters when you play team, especially now that we're doing the Max Preps rankings. When you play teams, kind of matters a little bit too, because both teams had wins over Lakeview down the stretch, which is the biggest points you can get out of the NEA because Lakeview is a Division 4 team. But South Range's win over Lakeview came before the points were finalized, and Girard's came after. So South Range had a little bit of a boost in the rankings. So they get the home game over Girard, even though Girard won the conference.
Do you like that?
There's pros and cons, you can't really control when you're scheduled to play teams, but at the same time, I think if you're doing these, you have to do them early because you still have to have the tournament draw. You still have to have those brackets be decided where you're going to go. Girard can say that they're mad about it, but they also picked that bracket, so they knew they were going to go up against South Range if South Range won on the road. So they kind of understood that when they picked it. So at the same time, you can't be, you can't feel too bad for them because they had their choice and they picked that one. They thought that was the best chance of winning a district. So, That's where they picked, and they're going to be confident. They've beaten South Range twice. They've won on the road at South Range. You did that game. So they're going to be a confident bunch, I'm sure. But at the same time, I know they're kind of a little bit head scratching on why they're going to South Range, but that's just the way the system works right now.
Well, I think the people like us, I should say me, you understand this up and down. I mean, you are a human encyclopedia of the way that these things work. I, on the other hand, I'm just sitting there in the shotgun seat like, okay, explain this to me, why they win the 88, they have the better record, and then they're the away team. Right. But if you're South Range,
remember, right? Like 2 weeks before the end of the season, they were tied at the top of the conference.
Right.
And that's when the finalized points were.
So if you're South Range in this scenario right now, as it's Monday the 17th and you're playing tomorrow, right? You're trying to get every single person you possibly can to that game, to fill that gym. I mean, you're calling back the young kids, the cheerleaders. You're calling, I mean, if you can make this a noon game, you would, because you'd sell out that gym so that it is electric in the Thriller Dome.
Right.
And there is a distinct disadvantage for Girard. Am I wrong about that?
No, that's exactly what South Range wants. They want to get every ounce of home court advantage they possibly can out of this game.
And if you're Girard, you're sitting there like, oh man, I hope it snows like no other. Not that you're afraid, but you're trying to kind of minimize that disadvantage, right? That for yourself going into that, if it's a disadvantage at all. Some people are pumped up either way. If they're a heel or a face. If they're a hero or a villain, so to speak, they get pumped up. I mean, there's polarization in everything you do. Oh, here we go. Look at that.
He's there.
We are not head scratching at all. I love it. I love it. I would be very interested. Maybe we can get Coach Bornemis on.
Joe, if you want to come on, I'll text you the link, buddy, man. Let us know.
Because this is the stuff that sports is made of, right? This is the advantage versus disadvantage. You win the conference. How you're going on the road.
Right.
This is crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. But what a story for Girard. Right. They go on the road and they just run rickshot through everybody. Because they won that game comfortably the other night.
Yeah, they did.
I'm not crazy, right? That's a comfortable victory.
Yeah, they went to Southeast and they won pretty handedly.
So you go on and you beat one South. Now you head to another South.
And a Pirate and a Raider, right? So it's as close as it can be.
How many Souths do they have to go?
Same color scheme, almost the same mascot.
It's maroon and gold, okay, for Southeast.
Right.
And it's burgundy and gold.
Roughly this. You're right. I'm an alum. I should have done that.
Come on, Ant.
Come on.
I learned my lesson.
It's in the alma mater. South Range is always burgundy and gold. You never change that.
And we had a history lesson on that very early in the YSN Power Hour. Paul Munson gave us the history lesson on that. About the selection of the Raider, because there was a bunch of different ones that were on the table, and it almost was silver and black, if I remember right.
Yeah, I think so, because they wanted, and that was a long time ago when they merged the two schools from North Lima and Greenford. It was the North Lima Zippers and the Greenford Bobcats back in the day. So
basically the same thing. Yes, Shade, you're absolutely right. It's basically the same. We're trying to run a tight, buttoned-up program here, okay? We're not going to get into a fight with alums over colors. Burgundy and gold, maroon and gold.
Right.
And the only reason I know that is because I was sitting literally right next to the cheerleaders as they were yelling maroon and gold. And I thought to myself, there's your difference. There's your difference right there, maroon and gold and burgundy and gold. I'm not even sure what shade burgundy is. I'm going to be honest with you. It's like when you're in one of those Home Depots and they've got all the different colors on the palette. Couldn't tell you. Like if you held up a burgundy and gold or burgundy and maroon, I'm not passing that test.
Nah, me neither. I think
I might even call it brown if I'm standing far away.
I would probably, if one was darker than the other, I'd probably take burgundy as the darker. I think burgundy is supposed to be a little bit more on the purple side.
What do we got here? So what did you guys think of the man defense coming out versus Southeast, not allowing a lot of threes?
That's what Girard always plays. I mean, they're in there. They have the horses to do it with Gassman, Wilkes, and White. And when you're Southeast, you've seen them. They want to shoot the perimeter jump shot. You took them out of that thing. If you play zone against Southeast, you're playing into their hands because you're going to give up open looks. So I think Girard kind of knew, hey, Southeast, one chance to beat us is if they hit looks from three, and we're not going to let that happen. And they obviously didn't let that happen.
Do you think, and this is something that we've talked about before off the record, do you think that teams, especially nowadays, live and die more by the three ball?
Mm-hmm.
I do too.
But especially on the boys' side. No knock on them, but they see it in the NBA. They want to emulate it. And there's a lot of teams that will come down and jack up threes a lot.
Caitlin Clark does her own fair share of threes.
Yeah, but it's not as
I see dads out there trying to get their daughters out there. It hasn't
trickled down as much in the high school girls game, at least in the games that I've seen. Yet.
Tick, tick, tick. Tick, 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 Anthony. It's coming. It takes a minute. It's the avalanche.
But it's a little bit more there prevalent in the boys game right now. Right now.
Shane agrees with you here.
But there are some girls teams in the area that do have really good 3-point shooters that if you take them out of that game, they're going to struggle a little bit.
One particular 3-point shooter that Girard is going to have to...
Perfect segue.
Yeah. See how I do that? Bait and switch, my friend. On to that 3-point shooter that is the sharpshooter of the South Range Lady Raiders. At this time, we bring in the only senior on the South Range roster, ladies and gentlemen, Cece Foster. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It is player profile time for the South Range Lady Raider basketball team, and there is only one senior that stands out. There's only one senior amongst them with the veteran savvy that has come to be Raider basketball here in 2024-2025. A young lady that I have known for a long time who has character, finesse, grace, attitude, as well as one of the best people you are ever going to want to know, the leader of the South Range Raider basketball team, and one of my favorite people in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, Cece Foster. Cece, congratulations. Your senior year,
Thank
it's
you.
here. You're welcome. It doesn't feel real. I mean, I remember when we started the Coaches Corners back in your house with your dad, and you and your mom were like eavesdropping on all our conversations and doing all that stuff. You are now, you're a wonderful young lady then, but now you are I don't even know how to describe. You are a princess. You're a queen of the court, and you are here. It's your last. I mean, I promised your mom and your dad I wouldn't get emotional. It's your last player profile. What has this year been like for you? Your senior year, your senior campaign, just as a whole, not even getting into basketball yet.
It's been so much fun. I have just really had so much fun. I mean, I try to take in everything, and I know it goes by fast, so I just wanted to enjoy it as much as I can. So that's what I've been doing.
One of my favorite stories ever is going to be your freshman season playing with your sister on the volleyball team. I know that it's a memory that you hold and cherish very, very close to your heart. What did you learn that season from your sister? What did you learn that season about yourself and how you wanted to kind of conduct yourself moving forward? And now that you're a senior, how do you want to pass the torch and the baton onto the freshmen and sophomores and underclassmen for South Range?
I learned from her really how to be a leader. I mean, being a freshman playing varsity, I had obviously never done that before, and she taught me a lot of things and a lot of helpful tips and stuff. So, I mean, I just want the underclassmen to learn from me how to be a leader and try to follow my footsteps. So,
and obviously starting at East Palestine, making the transfer to South Range, it was a tough decision for you naturally to leave your friends and kind of go to the unknown. How has that decision, been over the life of, leaving as a sophomore and then now being a senior and the only senior on the South Range basketball roster? How has that decision kind of paid off for you?
I mean, it was a hard decision to make. Obviously, I had been at East Palestine my whole life, but I just thought that was best for me, so I made that decision. And I mean, it's really paid off for me. Like, I feel like I've been at South Range my whole life. Like, I really fit in at South Range. I mean, everyone has been so welcoming, and it just feels like home. So
that Raider culture, I know it's changed you over the last 3 years. Friendships that I'm sure that you had to build kind of while the plane was in the air. I know some of the first meetings, the first practices were tough for you because you didn't really know people, but you glided into those circles and certainly became the leader of them. How has that progressed you as a person? How has that helped define your character and who you want to be moving forward?
It kind of showed me like how outgoing I am. I never really thought that it was like, not saying like it's that easy to make friends, but like for me, I noticed that about myself. So like going into college, I know that I have that, and I can just, I don't know. I think it was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. I think the people really helped out, but I learned that about myself, I guess.
When you were talking about this year in particular about basketball, you have naturally turned into a leader because you had to be as the only senior on the roster, but also you've turned into quite the sharpshooter on the outside, making a career night, over 20 points earlier this season. How have you gone from being a supplemental part of the scorebook to having to lead some nights on that floor?
Last year I wasn't like a big scorer. I mean, I've always been a 3-point shooter. That's what I enjoy doing the most. I kind of just stand there and shoot. But I think it like really started to click for me this year. I mean, I put in a lot of work over the summer. I just work on shooting a lot. So it's nice to see that pay off in some of the games.
Nights that the ball isn't going in. We all have them. Yeah, you talk to any shooter. What are some of the things that are going on in your head on those nights that the ball just isn't going through the bucket?
Well, I usually just keep shooting. Sometimes I should probably start driving more, but I keep trying. I mean, I never really give up on myself. I know like I have that confidence, so I never really give up, but that's something I should probably get better on, is if I'm not making all my shots, to start driving. And because when I drive, I either try to make it or get fouled. So
naturally, the other side of that, when you are making it and you do that a lot, what is going through the confidence exudes from you as you march from one side of the arc to the other. What is it like for you when everything seems to be going in and that basketball feels like a rock and that hoop feels like the ocean?
I just have to keep my confidence up. I mean, I try not to change anything in my shot. My team really like helps me out with that. They like are very supportive of me and they hype me up. So that's nice.
One of the coolest things that I saw was your senior night. Very, very special. I mean, they decorated as if they had 30 seniors, and it was just for you. I mean, how did that make you feel? And then, of course, the unbelievable crowd that you had, that your family brought and your friends in the stands. What was that like for you?
It was such a special night. I mean, I wasn't expecting them to go all out like that, especially like inside the locker room. We had a glow-in-the-dark theme. It was so much fun, but it was really nice of them. I like enjoyed that so much, especially, I mean, we go all out whenever there's more seniors, but just being the only senior, that was so nice of them to do all that.
Did you have a moment? I know that was a highly contested game, but did you have a moment to take it all in, either before the game, during the game, or after the game, and really understand like this is my party. This is CC Foster's party?
I did. Whenever I was first walking into the locker room and they were blowing off the confetti, that was like my moment. Like, wow, this is all for me. That was really cool.
When you think about the teammates that you have on this roster, your coaches that you have on this team, what are some of the things that come to your mind? What are some of the words that describe this particular team in 2025? I
would have to say hardworking, very together. we're a very close team this year, so I enjoy that. And I don't know, hardworking is like one of the big one that comes to mind because we all are in the gym all the time. Like some nights we'll have people come early, some nights we'll have people stay late. Like it's just, we all want it bad. So
when you think about what the legacy you want to leave at South Range High School and wherever you go, what is it? What do you want people to remember you for? How do you want people to remember you as a student athlete?
I want people to remember me as being a hard worker. I mean, I never want to be remembered as like someone who is lazy or someone who's, I don't know. I would just always like to be remembered as someone who puts in the work and tries their hardest all the time.
All right. So also, we got to tell the story about all these young girls in the stands that are watching on YSN, that admire you, that want to follow in your footsteps. For you, who was it growing up that you admired, on the floor, on the turf, wherever it may be? Who were the people that you looked up to the most growing up as little CeCe Foster?
I think from my dad being a football coach, I really looked up to Parker Sherry. He was a big, hard worker. He started varsity as a freshman year and all throughout high school. That was a very big leader that I looked up to.
And how does it feel that others are looking up to number 4 wearing burgundy and gold and thinking that I want to be like CeCe Foster one day? What is that like for you? Have you been able to comprehend that yet?
Not really. I mean, that's really cool to me. I got a text from Coach Fischel the other day saying that his kids were talking about me and saying that he wants his kids to grow up like me, and that's just really cool. One of the days at the game, it was last year, I think, the littlest one, Carmen, she came in and she had her hair done like me, and that was just cool to see. She was just I want to wear my hair like CeCe, and that's just not even just that, but the way that she looks up to me, that's really nice.
So I guess the questions remain. I mean, I know you've thought about at least playing spring sports. Is this the last time that we'll see CeCe Foster gear up in a South Range uniform? This particular winter?
Time. Yep, this will be the last time.
And have you thought about kind of the emotions? Have they set in about what it's going to be like to put those sneakers on one last time, to put that uniform on one last time?
It hasn't really kicked in yet. I've thought about it a few times, but I keep just trying to push it off to the side. I don't really want to think about it. I want to enjoy my last few weeks of basketball that I have. So I'm excited for these last few weeks, but I'm really sad for it to be over. So
are you going to let yourself get emotional?
I'm going to try not to.
Are you going to let your parents get emotional?
My dad won't get emotional. My mom maybe, but my dad would never.
Dad's a big softy. Who are we kidding? he'll be blubbering like an idiot in the stands. No, I mean I guess that's the unknown, right? You don't know how you're going to react to it. Obviously, if you win, you keep going. So ultimately, that's what you want to do. But every time you lace those shoes up, it might be the last time. So I would give you the advice of let yourself be yourself. If you're going to be emotional, it'll sneak up on you, and just do it. Because I mean, you're going to the Ohio State University. You're not planning on playing any sports there. So to be able to have your emotions here, you're probably saving yourself some therapist bills in the future as well. Talk to me about going to the Ohio State University, why it was so important to you. It really was the only one on your radar for quite a while. Why do you want to go to Columbus?
That's just always been a big one in my family. My aunts and uncles went there, all my cousins went there. So that's just we've always been big Ohio State fans. So I don't know, that's just been my main one. Whenever I was applying to colleges, I realized that out of state was just not for me. So Ohio State was definitely my top option. And once I got in, I was just so excited. So
is there a particular avenue you're going to take down there from a studying point of view?
I'm thinking about going into finance, but I'm not dead set on that yet. So I don't know. Counting
G's and sinking threes. CeCe Foster. I I love it. I think that you're going to have such a good time down there, but I also know that your studies mean a lot to you, and you're very competitive. So naturally that's a pretty good avenue to go. If you're going down to Columbus at the Ohio State University, I think you're gonna have a good time. And again, you have family down there as well. So you're not going to be lonely, right? I mean, what are you looking forward to most about heading down south?
I'm excited to just okay, so I'm excited to be at Ohio State, but obviously I'm excited to be closer to my family. Like my cousin, she's going to have a baby at the end of August, so I'll watch the baby grow up. That's really exciting to me. And just if I'm having a hard time, I can go spend the weekend at my cousin's house. That'll just be so much fun. I'll get to see them more and be closer to them.
All right, let's take it off the floor from a South Range perspective. Favorite subject in school? What is it and why?
Math. I don't know. I just love working with numbers. I know that's weird, but it's just fun to me. That's just what comes easiest.
Well, if you're going into finance, I would hope that you like working with numbers. Otherwise, we probably want to think about something else. Teacher wise, I mean, who have been some of the influencers on the way up? You have an interesting, background being at two different schools. Who are some of the teachers that helped you out along the way?
Definitely Mrs. Fischel. She has been by far my favorite teacher. I mean, obviously I'd have to say my dad too, but Mrs. Fischel, she's just really been there for me in the classroom and outside of it. So I appreciate that a lot.
What's one of your favorite memories of high school life?
Ooh, that's a good one. I don't know. I would say probably the homecomings and proms, all the dances, and just all of I enjoy school, but all of the outside school activities. I enjoy the football games. All those are just so much fun to me, and being with my friends and getting to do that is so fun.
Who was one of the biggest influencers when you made it into high school?
I would say my sister, probably. I mean, I always looked up to her going into it. Was nice having her be a senior whenever I was a freshman, because I got to see her go through her high school years while I was still in middle school, but then I got to also spend a year with high school with her. So I've always looked up to her.
We know you love shopping. Where's your favorite place to shop, and what do you do? What do you buy yourself when you want to treat yourself?
Oh gosh. I would say my favorite. Okay, we'll start with my favorite thing. My favorite thing to buy is a new. I always get the new Lululemon keychains because they're expensive, but if I really want to save up for it and treat myself, I just get them so I can change them out for different seasons. So I have different colors. But I don't know where my favorite place to shop is. Probably. I don't really know. I like going to the expensive places, but I don't buy anything. But I like looking at the stuff. That's always fun for me.
What's the hang on. Uh-oh. My mouse died. Hang tight. This is why live kind of stinks. All right, there we go. What is the go-to order? If you were on I don't want to say if you're on death row. If you had one order left in your life, what would you order? You can order anything in the world. What would it be?
Oh gosh. Okay, I would order. This is kind of weird, but it's this it's this restaurant called Peace and Plenty, and it's in the Bahamas, and they have the best cheeseburger ever. I would order that, and that's all. Just a cheeseburger from this restaurant. Yeah, it's so amazing. I get it every time. It's so good.
No dessert. No dessert. No anything else.
I think for dessert I would get hummingbird cake. I love hummingbird cake. My Aunt Joanne makes it, and it's the best thing ever. It's so good.
What in the world is hummingbird cake?
It's it's like a carrot cake, but instead of carrots, pineapple.
Oh,
it's so
okay.
Good. It's so good. And then it has the best icing ever. It's so good.
All right, you're going to get a drink, a Dunkin', Starbucks, whatever. What are you ordering? What's your go-to?
Okay, well, Dunkin', I like Dunkin's coffee better. So from Dunkin', it would have to be a medium French vanilla iced coffee with 2 cream and 2 sugar. and that's it. It's so good. And then from Starbucks, I get an iced matcha latte with 3 pumps of chai and vanilla cold foam. I actually just got it like a few hours ago. This morning I got it.
How do you even develop that? Like, how does that even become a drink?
I don't know. Me and my sister have tried so many like different combinations, but that's the one I like the most. So
incredible. All right. Last question for you. The people in your life that have given you this opportunity, what would you, if you had a chance to, and I know it's not always easy to do, but they're not around right now, but if they were watching right now, what would you say to those people that gave you a chance and have given you opportunity to be who you are today?
I would just thank them. I mean, making me who like the person I am today. I don't know. I am thankful for the people that I have always looked up to and for having like such a good family and friends and surrounding myself with so many good people. I would just thank all the people for just always being so nice to me and giving me good, like being good role models, I guess.
All right. I lied. Last question now. What is your favorite part of being CC Foster?
Oh gosh. Oh, that's a good one. I would have to say all the people I like surround myself with, just like how many good people I have in my life and being able to spend the time I do with all these good people and having the relationships I do with all these people. So
great answer. Great answer. CC, it's been such an honor watching you grow up into the young lady you are today. We're so proud of you. Can't wait to see you do so many great things in the future, even if it is away from sports. You're doing some great things on the floor and in the classroom right now. So we thank you for being a great role model to all the youngsters out there, and continued success to you, young lady. We're proud of you, and God bless you.
Thank you.
There she was. CC Foster. I mean, those ones are the tough ones, Ant. Those ones are the tough ones. When you know them so well, you're a fan of them on and off the court, which we are a lot. But when you know them just a little bit better than you know everybody else, those are the tough ones. And you can tell the ums and the ahs, those were because I knew the answer, but I wanted to try to sneak attack. Yeah. But there's no, I mean, she kept her calm. She did such a good job. As all of these athletes do. Another one we're going to be having on the show. Ty did a great interview with Ryan Romai, and this one happened about a week ago or so.
Yeah, right after, not too long after he broke the record for the program scoring record at Jackson Milton.
The coolest part about all of this is in 20 years, whether they still hold the record or not, whether Ryan still holds the record or not, he's going to have this to show his kids or his, nephews or nieces or whoever. That's why these are so important. That's why these are so cool. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the all-time leading point scorer in Jackson Milton basketball history, Mr. Ryan Romai.
What's up, everybody? Ty Bartellin with another edition of Player Profile. This time we head over to one of the seniors that are friends in North Jackson Township, Jackson Milton Blue Jays, Ryan Romai, the scoring king of the Blue Jays, joining me today. Ryan, how are we doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm not doing too bad, and you're not doing too bad this season either. You've had quite a eventful, memorable season. It's been an interesting one for you guys, a season of ups and downs, but you guys are, I think, one of the hottest teams in the second half, too, with who you've beaten and how you've been able to lead your team. Talk to me about just being a senior leader for this team and this group of guys, too, and what you've seen growth-wise from all the younger guys underneath you.
Yeah, I mean, being a senior leader on this team is really important. We've been playing together since third grade. We're just out there having fun at this point in the season, and it's paying off, having fun. And leading these younger guys, I get to show them how, like, the different levels of basketball, like going from 8th grade to high school, JV to varsity, they're all different. So me being able to show them and help them with those different levels just means a lot. And I've seen so much improvement from all the younger guys, and it's just amazing.
What's the biggest thing you think you've progressed and improved in from freshman year to now on the basketball court?
Personally, I think my leadership and talking on the court has gotten way better. I mean, I've had leaders like my brother in the past, and so just seeing him helps me as well become a better leader. And I'd say my freshman year, sophomore year, I was more quiet out there, And now I'm just taking charge. And like I said, we're just having fun, all of us.
How much did that experience with Aaron kind of help you going into your upperclassmen seasons too, and starting to kind of take the bull by the horns with the leadership role?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better leader on the basketball court. I mean, he was always there for me. He always had confidence in me, which also helped me develop as a player as well. So just having him out there those first 2 years of high school meant a lot. So
of course you got to give love to Big Bro too, and he obviously helped out. But Big Bro doesn't have the scoring record at Jackson Milton. That's a record that belongs to you. Talk to me when that started becoming like a realistic goal for you two, and you saw it in grasps for you to be able to say, hey, I can actually accomplish this.
Yeah, I mean, it was always a goal for me personally, but I wasn't really focused on it till maybe the start of this season. So yeah, at the start of this season, I just really was like, man, I really want that because it's very attainable for me, and I got it. So
what's that feel like to know that your name's at the top of that list too, and it's going to be in that top 5 list presumably for years to come at Jackson Milton?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it means a lot. I've put in a lot of work for this, and it's nice to see it paying off.
When you talk about the work you put in, when's the first chapters of the basketball journey? When were they written? When you first remember having a basketball in your hand and dribbling?
Probably like first grade. I mean, it goes, me and my friends, we go back all the way to playing in like this league at this church called Upward Basketball. My brother played, we all played together. And that's really the earliest memory I have of it, and just fell in love with it from there.
What was some of the biggest advice youth coaches gave to you that kind of kept you in the sport of basketball, that kind of guided you going through middle school and high school?
Yeah, growing up, I've pretty much had the same coach my whole life, which was my dad, and he's still here with me, coaching at the high school level. So just him always being there to give me advice, help me. Even if I play bad, I play good, he's always there to give me something to improve on, which I can't appreciate more.
How are those drives home and those talks at home after games too? Is it nice to have the more in-depth analysis too, or do you have to kind of step away from basketball at home for a moment or two?
I mean, in the moment, I might get upset about it, but looking back on it, I mean, all he's trying to do is help, and can't appreciate it more. So
when we look at this team in particular, you guys just got one of the biggest wins of the season against Camel Memorial, the only loss for Camel inside the conference too. But this isn't just a surprise upset, I don't think. I feel like this has kind of been a long time coming thing this season for this team too. And I mean, you guys beat Springfield. You guys have been gaining a lot of momentum. What do you think the biggest change has been from beginning of the season to now from this team too, and how well you guys are playing, and just the way you guys have been able to beat some really quality competition down the stretch?
Yeah, I think at this point in the season, we're all shooting with confidence, which is key. We're all wanting to score. We're having fun. Like I said, this season has been the most fun season by far with my friends. So I think that helps. And yeah, just shooting with confidence, really. I mean, at the beginning of the season, we did have a couple injuries, so that hurt us. But now that we're back, I mean, Jace went out this like 2 weeks ago, I think, with a broken fibula. So that hurts, but still, we're still on a roll, shooting with confidence, and it's paying off.
Coach Sharp is one that I really like too. He's another one of those young minds that have come into the sport of coaching basketball too. And he's not the only one. We're seeing a lot all over the area too. But I think it's helping in bringing some of these kids back into the sport too, and finding that love for the sport of basketball. What has he been like being under his direction too for this season too, and being able to kind of pick the brain of Coach Sharp this year?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Sharp is doing a great job with his first year at Jackson Milton. Personally, he's always telling me things I can improve on. He's always getting on me, which I appreciate a lot. So, I mean, having him as my coach my senior year, I couldn't have asked for anything better. So, yeah, I just hope the best for him.
When we look at yourself, man, you are a role model to countless young individuals, to young boys that are playing down there in the Jackson Milton area, North Jackson Township area too. I see all the youth level teams that are coming up to the school too. They support you guys. They rep you guys. They love you in particular, Ryan. When you talk about the kind of level of impact you have on the youth players in and around the area, what's some advice you would give to them that see you breaking the records too, and say, hey, I want to be up in those columns too. I want to be the one breaking the records too. What's some advice you give to those youth level basketball players to get to where you are right now?
One thing I always tell all the younger guys in school and everything is to appreciate the time you have while you're in it, because it goes by very quick, and it feels like yesterday was just my freshman year, and season's almost over already in my senior year. So just don't take time for granted, and always have fun with it.
When you talk about the high school experience too, sports is a big part of it for you too, but it's also a big academic side of things too. And teachers also have a very important role, just like coaches do, in shaping the youth of America. When you talk about some of your favorite teachers that you've gotten to have class with too, who is some that come to mind for you?
Mr. Satchery, always on the top of my list. I mean, I'm in his 8th period every day as a teacher aide. I'm in there shooting in his gym, helping with those 7th graders that he has 8th period. So just always being in there, and he always is there for me to talk to. So Satch is definitely at the top of my list.
You're always talking with the youth players. You're always sitting there too, helping them out. Is coaching, is assistant coaching or something like that in your future down the road, you feel like?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, that's always a goal, is to become a coach one day. I want to stick with the game. I love it, and I want to be with it the rest of my life.
So what are some of the plans too? When senior year's over, you get to toss the cap, you get to flip the tassel, right? What are some plans after that's all said and done for you?
So academically, I'm going to plan on going to college and be a physician assistant is the goal, or a nurse, one of those two. And then hopefully play basketball. So that's the goal. So yeah.
I could definitely vouch for you to be able to be playing basketball at the next level too. And I think you would be a huge addition to any team that is absolutely looking for a guy that can pretty much do it all on the court. When you talk about the physical, what was it? You said nursing and then and physical therapy as well?
Physician assistant.
Yeah. Or nursing. What was it about those career paths that kind of drew interest for you that made you kind of want to go down that path?
I always like to help people, and I want to do that for the rest of my life, is help people. And I feel like that's a good way for me to do it. And being a physician assistant, I feel I can, in a way, stay with athletes with helping with like injuries and stuff like that. And yeah, I just always want to help people, and I feel like that would interest me.
I know the love of the sport of basketball runs deep, as you said too earlier in this interview. When you talk about some of the lessons that the sport of basketball has been able to teach you, what are some that stand out that you feel like basketball translates to real life scenarios too, and you've been able to take some lessons away from the sport and apply it to real life?
Yeah, one of the biggest lessons, I actually answered this question on a paper the other day, is like, you can always overcome challenges. Like the past couple of seasons, they've been rough, right? And I feel like a lot of people wrote us off this year, and us overcoming that challenge and just having a good season is really important. So no matter how hard or how down you guys get, there's always improvement, and you can always get better.
Love that mentality too, and it's that next game up, next play up mentality that you need to have, and that you have experience with now in your senior year too. I'm sure that's something that you've learned a lot along the way. We're getting into it, man. I mean, tournament draw just happened yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. We got the brackets set. The final postseason run is in store for you personally too. Talk to me about just some of the feelings going into the final tournament run and some of the excitement going into it with this team.
Yeah, I think us as a team, we have a really good chance of going deep into the tournament, especially with the divisions now. And yeah, I don't want it to end. I want to go as far as we can, and just cherish every moment of it.
Right. When we talk about Jackson Milton as a school system and as a community too, how big has their support been for you throughout this journey?
It's been huge. I mean, everyone in our community, in our school, everything has always believed in me and always pushed me, which I can't appreciate enough. And there's a lot of support in Jackson Milton that no one will understand unless you go there. So yeah.
When you talk about basketball too, who are some of the role models that you've had in the sport and some play styles you've tried to emulate out there on the court?
My brother out there, and then like if I'm watching like the NBA or someone, the player I like to watch is SGA. I like his movement.
Okay.
So
all right, give us some love to the newer guys. I like it though.
Yeah.
What is it too about basketball? Because I mean, we're seeing it. I feel like at the youth levels too. We're seeing a lot of drop off as you go into the middle school levels too. For someone that loves basketball as much as you do, I don't expect you to have all the answers, but what are some things you feel like coaches, communities can do to bring in that love for the sport of basketball too, and keep kids interested through the middle school, through the high school levels. So these numbers, we can see them start to have that increase again.
Yeah, a big thing is having fun. You have to have fun. If you're just out there yelling at them, not encouraging them, it's going to be hard for them to want to play. So making them have fun will keep them enjoying the sport and everything. And I just think, yeah, just having fun, make them have fun.
I love the way that you seem like you have fun out there on the court every single time, Ryan. Before I let you go, I want to give you that opportunity. I want to give you the spotlight to shine on pretty much anybody that you want to at this point. Give some love to the people that have been there for you along the journey and have been there supporting you all the way.
Yeah, my parents are at every single game for like my entire life, so I need to thank them. My grandparents are at every game as well, and my aunt and uncle. They're always there. My family's always at all my games, and I can't thank them enough for their support and everything. And yeah.
Well, my guy, I can't thank you enough for taking the time out of your busy schedule and your busy day to come on and chat a little bit of hoops, chat a little bit about your story with me. We're so excited for what you've been able to do with Jackson Mountain and the legacy you've been able to leave there with the Blue Jays. But I'm even more excited to see what kind of legacy you leave after you graduate Jackson Mountain, Ryan. Best of luck to you out there on the floor, and we're hoping for a deep tournament run out there in Jackson Mountain.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. First edition of Player Profile with the senior legend, Ryan Romine.
What a great interview with Ty and Ryan Romine. I mean, I could have sat through another 10 minutes of that and just, I mean, to pick his brain. You know, some people think that these kids are out there and they're just having fun. You know what I mean? But there is a cerebral kind of, I want to, dare I say, vulture-like mentality to some of these kids. And it's, listen, your body's dead. I'm going to keep you down. I'm going to eat you. You know what I mean? And Ryan Romine, I don't think he's a cannibal. I think on the floor, he will eat you up in anything you give him. And he's been living proof of that with what he's been able to do. And we say this a lot, and I'm not trying to butter anybody up, but let's be real. Like, that young man is going to be great in whatever he does because of the mentality that he has on the floor, in the classroom. Is because he's a competitor. He's a freak. Yes, he is. He's a freak competitor, but he's a competitor nonetheless. And I think that young man we're going to be talking about him 20 years from now being a guy that has impacted this world in a much bigger way than basketball.
Yeah, I think he really benefited from being able to grow up in sports with his brother right in front of him with Aaron Romine and what he did and what he was able to do for Ryan Romine, watching those two play together on the Jackson Mountain court until Aaron graduated. Now it's been Ryan's show, but the first 2 years to be under Aaron and to be able to watch him play and those two being on the court at the same time. I mean, Jackson Mountain was so hard to stop when you had two of them. Now they're equally hard to stop because Ryan Romine has just kind of stepped up his game a little bit. He's a lanky guard, tall, and those kind of guards are always hard to guard on defense because there aren't a lot of high school teams, especially in the MVAC, that have the length in the front court to guard that if they can shoot really well. I mean, it reminds me a little bit of when South Range had Brandon Plutinski. I mean, we've seen how tall that kid is, but he could also shoot the lights out. He has the South Range 3-point in the game record.
Pretty okay
for a
golf,
reason,
by the way.
You know, and he's pretty good at golf. But he was pretty dang good at basketball too because of his length. He was so hard to guard as a shooter. Ryan Romine is kind of the same way.
Just a reminder, too, that this previous segment was brought to you thanks to our friends at Toyota of Warren, Tito, and the whole crew out there in Warren, ready to take care of you for a new or used vehicle, just like the Toyota Tundra that I drive to every single game. Man, I drive in style. It's a giant billboard. Yes, I know, but I love it. People honking at me all the time. Can't pick my nose in the vehicle, just so you know. Yep. Like, it's one of those times. I'm never alone, man. I'm never alone in that vehicle. There is never a moment where I'm like, man, I think that I can do something stupid. Nope. Guess what? Because there's YSN all over it.
Yep.
All over it. And it's all thanks to our friends at Toyota of Warren. Anthony, it is now time for, I think, one of the favorite parts of this show for so many. It is the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark? Presented by Joe Dickey Electric. They are everything electrical, and you can visit them on the web 24/7 and yes, 365 at DickeyElectric.com. All right, Twiggy, what is your spark today?
I love that nickname, by the way. It was in my family for a little bit. Now, it's having a revival. But my spark is to tournament time on Saturday. We've been talking a lot about the teams that have won and moved on. Congratulations, of course, to the teams that are in districts, but it's kind of bittersweet in tournament time because you'll also get to say goodbye to a lot of the seniors and the teams that you've been covering all year. So to all the teams that have not made it, I wanted to say what a treasure it's been to, especially the seniors, to have been covering you your whole career. We saw a lot of seniors in really good careers over the weekend in the sectional final. So I want to say to them, man, it's been an awesome job covering you guys for 4 years. And we're proud of you at YSN, win or lose. And what a great career those kids have had. And we can't wait to see what they have in store next in their next chapter.
Mine is a little bit more complicated. You can read between the lines, and maybe this has to do to you. If you feel that way, that's okay too. There's a lot of people that want to be in front of this thing, behind this thing, behind the microphone. It's a little bit tougher than you realize, and there's a lot of people that consider themselves, shock jocks or shock media. And all they want to do is get clicks and get all this stuff and, generate interest and make people laugh and, at the expense of others. Here's what I'm going to tell you. We learned very quickly that this is a very, very powerful weapon, and it can be weaponized, most certainly. And there are people out there that want to poke fun and make fun of others, and that's fine. But be able to handle it. If you're on that one side that you're going to be poking the bear and you're going to be pointing things out, make sure that you're willing to stand and be accountable for your actions and not just be another victim. You can't make fun of somebody and bully somebody and then be a victim. You can't push too far and then say, well, you guys, no. If you're going to be that person, if you're going to use this as a weapon, a pipe bomb, you better be able to handle it when it comes back to you, because otherwise you just look like a little baby back, what. And that is my spark, brought to you by Joe Dickey Electric. You can, again, visit or that. you can click on the wrong button and then run their thing again. Yeah, dude, I am enraged about this. And they're singling out other people that are saying, hey, maybe you went too far. Maybe you sensationalize this a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then they're going to play victim. I'm not for that, man. I'm not for that. No. And guess what? I got one of these too. So if you got some smoke, bring it on, baby. The people's champion is ready. It's the same mindset of trash talk, right? If you're gonna give it, you got to take it when it's your time to take it. So, trash talk is all, it's all fun and whatever in the sport. When you're actually bullying people and using this to make others kind of under you, that goes a little bit across the line. You already look like a doing it, but then when you can't take it back, you even look like more like one. Oh yeah, and to be a victim, everybody's a victim. Everybody's a victim. It's ridiculous. It takes away from the actual victims out there, is what it does. It does, and it's just a bad look. And it's a bad look, and people, they want to be the goat, the kangaroo, flexing their muscles, and they also want, animal cruelty. It's a little bit ridiculous. That's going to do it for our show today. Please, PETA, stay away from me. I saw you with those chickens over the weekend. You stay away. Stay away. We're not playing that game. No kangaroos were harmed. No kangaroos. But if they step up, they'll get it like Canada. We're not messing around. These colors don't run, baby. These coming for you next, Australia. Canada's about to find out for the second time on Thursday. Australia, you want some too? Step on up. Bring it up. Get you too. You and Crocodile Dundee, mate. That's the show for this Monday. We hope you had a good time. We hope you were entertained. We will see you tomorrow. Josh Scott of the conference champion Heartland Christian Lions will join us tomorrow right here on the show. We're excited for that. We'll have more interviews with your favorites right here on YSN Live. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of Your Sports Network.